Next on Fox News at 6, a grain elevator in Ulen is hit with fire, causing area residents to be evacuated. A shortage in fuel causes a long delay for tanker trucks in West Fargo. And you won't have to go to the zoo to see an abundance of elephants in the Twin Cities.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Fox News at 6. Dozens and dozens of firefighters are called in after a report of an explosion at a Ulen, Minnesota grain elevator.
The call came in around 11:45 this morning at West Central Ag Services. Fox reporter Candace Thornburg joins us live with more on the fire. Candace?
Austin, Andrea, authorities say grain dust ignited, and that's what caused the explosion, but they're not sure yet what caused the grain to ignite in the first place. The explosion happened in a storage unit of the grain elevator, and that caused the fire that continued to spread across the building. Large flames were shooting from the building, and thick black smoke could be seen for miles. The manager says the storage unit did not have much grain because they were preparing for harvest.
We didn't have anybody in the facility at the time. The guy that runs the facility was out on break when the explosion happened, so the facility was empty.
The Clay County Sheriff's Department evacuated people who lived in nearby houses and people who worked near the plant because they feared for the townspeople's safety.
Anytime you have an elevator fire, you're probably going to end up with some more explosions because of the grain dust. So just for precaution is what we did it for. It wasn't because of any chemicals or anything, it was just for precaution. It was not the whole town, just a 2-block area.
The fire was under control at about 1:30 this afternoon, and the all clear was given at about 3 o'clock. The manager of the elevator says at this time there's no damage estimate, but the good news is there were no injuries reported. Tonight on Fox News at 9, we'll introduce you to a man who was a block away from the scene when the explosion happened. Austin, Andrea, back to you.
Thanks, Candace. A clear and direct verdict from an Idaho jury today. Joseph Duncan will die for his crimes.
The former Fargo man has been sentenced to death. A federal jury reached that decision in just 3 hours. Duncan was found guilty of kidnapping, torturing, and murdering an Idaho boy and abusing his sister. The juror's recommendation is binding on the federal judge. The boy's relatives remained somber as the jury's decision was read. Duncan showed no reaction, but he did smile as the verdict was passed to the judge. Jury selection has wrapped up in Fargo in the trial of a former YMCA daycare worker accused of molesting children in his care. The selected jury was sworn in and the judge read preliminary instructions. The trial of Jaden Hyden is expected to last 5 or 6 days. He's accused of sexually molesting 4 girls between the ages of 6 and 8 or trying to molest them. He has pleaded not guilty. The judge ruled earlier the girls can testify. Opening arguments are set for tomorrow morning.
The pre-sentence investigation for a 19-year-old Fargo man charged with gross sexual imposition is being pushed back 2 weeks. Fargo North High School student Robert Fay is accused of having sex with a 14-year-old girl in March. Authorities say no force was involved, but the girl was not old enough to consent under state law. The age of consent in North Dakota is 15. A judge set bail at $25,000, and Fay has been suspended from Fargo North High School. Truckers are trying to find fuel in West Fargo. Dozens of gasoline tanker trucks were lined up at the Magellan Terminal in West Fargo. Drivers say other terminals in Grand Forks, Alexandria, and Sioux Falls are out of unleaded. Some are reporting that other terminals have been out for 4 or 5 days. Mike Eidenschink says he was in line at 6 this morning.
The drivers are not making as much money as we would like to is a thing. Some drivers are getting paid for sitting and waiting for their loads is a thing. But we make the better money while we're moving and making the deliveries.
A pipeline spokesman says the shortage is caused by a lack of supply from refiners. Retailers in the region say they're confident there will be enough gas to cover demand during the upcoming holiday weekend.
A house fire in Duluth takes the life of a 3-year-old child. The child was found dead at the scene of Tuesday night's fire in Duluth Township. Somebody passing by reported the fire at around 10:40. Firefighters arrived to find the house in flames. An adult and 2 other children were outside the house. They were treated at a Duluth hospital for smoke inhalation. No word yet on the cause. A Mandan woman is accused of slamming her teenage daughter's head into a wall several times during a heated argument. 32-year-old Billy Joe Berger is facing a felony child abuse charge. Police say Berger went to a bar after leaving young children in the care of her 14-year-old daughter at soccer practice, then later argued with her and allegedly assaulted her. Her bond was set at $2,000.
It was a stormy night in the valley, followed by a lot of sunshine today. What can we expect tonight?